Hey guys, a fellow YouTuber contacted me on email, and I think some of you probably know his channel. Pat the Landlord Bennett used to be his channel name, and he changed it to POPUP some time ago. And he changed it to POPUP because I think that's what his one of his grandkids called him, POPUP. So he wanted to change it to that. So he's now POPUP, and Pat shares videos about his day-to-day life, and he shows products that he gets. I remember he did some reviews and just showing us, I think, some throwing knives and blowguns, and of course his lawn and garden equipment that he makes his living with. He shows us that and gives us opinions on that, and he's just an interesting channel and a really nice guy. And he and I have been commenting back and forth for quite some time now. So he asked me on email, he talked about wanting to get a knife from me. So I started asking him, about what you're looking for. And he had two stipulations. He wanted a polished blade, and he wanted an elk antler handle. And so when I found out what he wanted, about a 6-inch blade, it just occurred to me that I wanted to make this Sheffield Bowie, this pattern that I made some time ago. I have always wanted to make a knife like this using this handle material. So he wanted a 6-inch blade, so I'm going to scale this pattern down to 6 inches, and I'm going to keep everything in proportion. And the raw materials are going to be this 01, this is 3/16, inch and a half. This is precision ground oversized, so it's 25-30 thousandths proud of an actual 3/16, and that's fine. So I will grind off the mill mark and get it nice and smooth. Then I'll give me a reference to lay out my lines, and then we're going to get started. The guard is going to be this 4/16 stainless steel, same as this knife. But again, everything is going to shrink down to those proportions. And all I'm going to do is trace this pattern onto a piece of white paper, take a photograph of it, upload it into my little paint program, and I'm going to reduce the size. And at least I can get an actual size on my big monitor. And when I reduce it to the point where I get a 6-inch long blade, I'm stopping, and that's what I'll go with. So I'm going to go ahead and start on that and see if we can't get a pattern made. So it's going to be a pleasure creating this. He's always been so complimentary of what I do here in the shop, and that really flatters me. And I sure appreciate his patronage. So Pat, I'm going to do one hell of a good job for you and crank out a nice knife that you can be proud of, and I'll be proud of it. So we'll take you through the steps from layout to heat treatment, grinding, all of it. And we'll just kind of put it into a few condensed videos and see if we can't get this finished up pretty quick for him. Alright, so the first thing I did is I took my normal Bowie pattern, that's Sheffield pattern. I just traced around it and then set it down, took an overhead photo of it. And then I got it opened up into a paint program, and I reduced it until I had the 6-inch blade, but everything else is to scale. So now what I'm going to do on this aluminum pattern stock, I've cut this out of the paper, and just going to take some spray adhesive. I'm going to stick this paper right to there, and that's going to be my outline, and then it'll be set in aluminum in case I ever make this knife again. So let me get out of the camera range. I'm going to spray this. Alright. Just kind of made a pencil mark of how far I needed to stick this adhesive. There we go. That printer ink, for whatever reason's coming off on my fingers. Alright, so there it is. So now I'm ready to profile this. I'll come back when I have this in aluminum. Alright, so I've got my pattern profile. I have my holes transfer punched anyway, or center punched. I just figure the difference between this size of the original pattern and this one of the one we're going to, it's about 22.63% reduction. And so this is the piece of the guard material, which is 416 stainless, same as on this knife, but I've just reduced its dimensions. I've got them laid out, so we're going to go mill this down to this line first, and then we're going to roll it and mill down to this line, so that gives us the rough dimensions and lengthwise of the guard that's going to be proportionate to this knife. Okay, I have the guard material milled down to its rough shape anyway, and I've deburred it, put some more bluing on it, because now, looking at this one, you know, there's a pretty big cutout here, and I'm going to go ahead and mill out the brunt of that and do a square shape, and then all this was hand formed, and I can do that, but I just want to scale down the biggest dimension and mill it to that, and then I can work it down by hand after I start getting it fitted up. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I have roughed out the brunt of the metal, and the rest is going to be down to handwork, and that's as far as I'm going to go with this guard piece right now. No hole cutting or anything starts on this until I get the blade blank itself profiled and down to finished dimension, and that is when we start fitting the guard. So now the only thing I have to do here is clamp the pattern to the steel. We're going to run a scribe around it, take it over to the bandsaw. We're going to cut a lot of this steel away, and we'll lay out our grind lines after we get it surface ground, so to speak. I am my own surface grinder, but I just want to get everything trued up and get some of the mill mark off of it, and then we can lay out our cutting edge. And then this is going to have, just like this is going to have a non-cutting false edge up here, so I'm going to lay a center up here to guide my hand filing. I always draw file these when I put these on a knife. It's just, you get better control that way. So anyway, yeah, I'm about done for the evening, but I want to go ahead and get this scribe laid out, and then I already have my hole center punched. I'll go ahead and drill these, and after I profile, I'll come back, lay the pattern back on, use it as a drill guide, and drill all of my pinholes. So it's moving along.